Counting up that money in a vision. It's getting close, yeah, I see it, man.
Welcome to the Eric J. the Great podcast show. Got a special guest on the show today, business owner, Stay Ahead, Melvontae, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I am doing well. Nice to meet y'all.
So, man, we're gonna start from the beginning, man. Tell the people where you from and how old are you?
So I'm actually born and raised in Louisville, Kentucky, and I am 27 years old, or 27 years young. Yes, correction.
So, describe the upbringing in Louisville, Kentucky, for anybody that hasn't been here. Kind of describe, how it is, like, everyday African-American kid growing up in Kentucky, some of the struggles you have to endure, growing up with your parents and things like that.
So I would definitely say, like, Louisville is definitely kind of like, it's a little slow compared to everything else that goes on in the city. We're kind of a small town. And I feel like people here, we are more like in tune of what we see on social media. And social media displays like the places like LA, New York, Atlanta, all these big cities that everything is popping. And we kind of like try to recreate that here, but we don't have the resources that all these other cities have. So it actually kind of makes it a bit harder for us to accomplish the goals that we want to accomplish because we're in the city. Me, for an example, growing up, it was, everything is kind of like structured for us to, get a job, pay the bills, and we're kind of like stuck in this loop of like where we're meant to get by but not get ahead. And that's why I started my brand Stay Ahead, because I wanted to get literally ahead and not just be stagnant on just working just to live. So with doing that, when I started my business, I wanted to go big to the point where I would be able to move and see what I see on social media and live out those dreams throughout these other cities. And I wanted to actually start in Louisville, and I feel like that when I did it, I wanted to, like I said, exceed all of the limitations and just make the impossible possible. And I feel like that if I did that here in this small town, I feel like that I could accomplish it in an even bigger city. So I'm ready to take it. I was going to be caught in that same loop, of working, have kids, take care of your kids. The system is not made for us to excel and become millionaires. It's just enough for us to have a salary and to stay where we are as working people. We're not really made to be like bosses and big entrepreneurs and big rich people, so that wasn't in our cards. We have to take that extra step and take the extra mile to achieve those goals.
Did you grow up in a two-parent household? Any siblings?
So actually, my mom and dad was actually separated. I lived with my mom and I visited my dad on the weekends. And I had actually my two oldest sisters. They were actually grown, and I was the baby. So I actually stayed in the house by myself, and I actually had foster brothers and sisters. My mom adopted 3 children. I had a brother and 2 sisters, so it was 4 of us. And it actually just gave me some time to like create like a family, and when I was kind of like lonely and I didn't really have anyone, I had like my brothers and sisters, which were my foster brothers and sisters, but we ended up just getting real close. They helped me growing up, and it made me realize that, I wanted to start something to motivate them, because when I was young and when they came in, I guess they kind of looked as if I had everything, and they did it. And in my mind, I said when I grow up, I want to create something for myself. I don't want people to think that, anything was given or handed to me. I wanted to start something and say that, hey, I did this all by myself. So if there ever was like foster kids now and that are going through the same thing that they went through. You know, it just gives them hope and motivation to say that, hey, you know, even though I'm going through a situation, when I become an adult, I can still make my own decisions and become anything I want to be.
Describe some type of activities you was in as a kid. Was you play sports, or were you into like any extracurricular activities?
It's actually funny that you asked that. I wrestle, and when people ask me, they used to ask me what I wanted to be when I grew up, and I used to tell them I wanted to be a singer. I do sing, and that was my passion, singing. Never in a million years would I thought that I would have a clothing brand. I used to like arts and crafts, but never in a million years that I thought I would be doing clothes. It just happened to happen. But growing up, you know, I like to just do like, I guess, play video games. You know, I didn't really like sports at all. The only sports I did was wrestle. I'm so uncoordinated. I can't play any sport that includes any type of ball. So football, basketball, I'm terrible. But I also I had a good mind, and I wanted to like use that and different stuff. I've always been a guy to observe and to think really clearly. So I thought about really doing the debate team. I never got to do it, but I've always wanted to do the debate team. My mind is crazy.
Did you have anybody in your family or close to you, like close friends or relatives, that was involved with any type of business or entrepreneur thing that you looked up to, or were you the first one to take that route?
So actually, believe it or not, my grandmother, she was the owner of Little Kings and Queens Development Child Care Center, and it was actually the most successful and biggest daycare chain in Louisville, Kentucky. I think actually in the state, and she was very successful, and it motivated me. I didn't know what I was going to do. I know I couldn't do daycare, but I know I wanted to do something, you know, to be just like my grandmother. And like now, my auntie is following after her steps, and she now has her own daycare facility. And outside of that, the next person in my family that runs my own business outside of my aunt now.
Okay. What year and month did you actually start Stay Here?
So I actually started in 2016. If you notice on some of our clothes, we always use the number 16, but people always ask why. That is the year that we started. And we started, I think, August. I was working at a warehouse, and I just remember working at a warehouse, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to start my own company. And I quit, and it was right in the fall time when I quit. And that was the month that we birthed Stay Here.
Okay.
It's August of 2016.
You know, when you start something, you have to build confidence in it to know you can really pursue it. Right. What was that moment for you when you started Stay Ahead and you was like, you know, this could be something big that you can have the confidence to just keep pushing and keep investing into it?
So actually, when I first started, I had very low confidence because, you know, I had invested so much money and I wasn't even making my money back at that point. So I had failed numerous times before I began to succeed. And then what kept me going and like basically like what kept me motivated and gave me that confidence was, as the years went on, I would keep trying, and people would always come to me and ask me like, oh my God, where's your clothes at? You know, I like those clothes. And I would bump into people who didn't even know who I was, and they would be wearing my stuff, and I just made that. You know, at the time I was hand making stuff, you know, and people were buying it, and they had no clue who I was, and it was like, wow. I was like, what if one day I made all of these clothes and all this stuff and had all these people wearing it and they didn't even know it was me? I said, I'd be rich. It's like, oh my gosh. And you know, that just built up my confidence to know that people love my clothes outside of me, you know, and I was creating something that people really like. And it just made me feel good and just made me want to keep going.
When you first dropped Stay Here and people knew that you was taking it serious and you started selling clothes, How did the city embrace you running the time? 'Cause you know, when you first start getting support from people, that's like the honeymoon phase of anything that you're involved in. You know, when you first start making money and people start wearing your stuff and things like that. So how did the city embrace you when they knew that you was a brand in the city?
So when I first started, you know, people, you know, they just wanted to support, you know, when they see a black man doing something positive. But there was a little controversy going on because, you know, some people felt that my prices were a little high. And, you know, I was like, okay, if my prices are high, you know, I wanted people to feel like that they're getting their money's worth. So I started to do my research and I started to specialize in my quality. So I began to find the best of the best fabrics and the best of the best quality of everything. And I put certain prices on them, and people went from his stuff is too high to his clothes are worth it. And, you know, they started buying my clothes and everybody loved it, and the word got around. You know, you go next door and buy Nike, and, you know, their sweatsuits might deteriorate before ours do. So once people started knowing that, people exclusively came to me just for my sweatsuits and my material.
What's the typical price range for like an average shirt, sweatsuit, things like that?
So I try to keep, it's a little pricey, but it's still reasonable. Our t-shirts average from $40 to $50. Our sweatsuits average from $150 to $160. And everything as far as like our short sets and summer sets are probably like around $120.
Okay.
Yeah, I try to keep everything in a familiar price range, so that way everything is just kind of like stagnant on what people come in here and expect to pay for anything that we sell.
I was thinking about all the local businesses around here. Since you've been open, have you had any local politicians such as the mayor or, you know, city council, anybody like that recognize you as far as, you know, you being a staple in the community, things like that?
I haven't had anyone as far as like politically wise, but I did have the pastor from St. Stephen's reach out to me, and they wanted me to participate in some of the activities and events that they were hosting. But as far as that, that's really pretty much it when I think of like big, you know, influential people that I got recognized from.
What is your short and long-term goals as far as your business? Where you want to take Stay Ahead?
So like right now, like by this being our first store, I eventually want to open up another store. I want to try Atlanta, maybe Houston, and then at that point, just wherever we can go at that point. I want to be able to make. I know this may sound crazy, but I want to be able to make $1 million a month. I feel like it's possible. It's possible. It's possible. I want to be crazy rich.
Oh yeah. When Stay Ahead was up and moving, you year or two down the line, when did you when did you catch that break to where you started making profit versus, you know, all the money that you invested in at the beginning?
I don't think I started seeing a profit from Stay Ahead until like my third year, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, it was literally, I was investing money and it went from not making the money back to investing to making my money back to investing to making just some money back. And then it went from investing to making double to making triple.
Okay.
So, you know, that's where we're at now.
And you know, a lot of people will get discouraged because, you know, I tell people all the time, like, you know, whether it's a clothing line, a business, whatever you got a passion for, you have to a certain extent, be willing to do what you have a passion for free until it starts to make you money. Like, you have to really be able to take a loss and invest in it. A lot of people are not willing to invest in themselves and take losses. And, you know, I think that's what makes it bittersweet in the end when you remember where you started and, you know, you start to make money. You like, dang, I remember when, you know, I was starting and I was thinking about quitting, and then, you know, I now you look at yourself now and you're like, wow, like this is really like an everyday thing. Like, you know, I'm making money every day, you know.
Yeah, it's so surreal to me, you know. I never in a million years thought that I would be here, you know, and it's just determination. I've stopped doing stay ahead numerous times. I had to take breaks, you know, and make enough money to come back to it and try to get it started again. But it's definitely been a journey. I would say that. It's been a journey.
How do you want people to perceive you?
I just want them to perceive me as a very positive and creative person. I'm very outgoing. I'm very outspoken, and I'm just me, and I'm myself. And when people come into Stay Ahead, you know, you get a chance to come in here, and you get to be yourself, and you get to wear what makes you feel comfortable. You know, everything is not, you know, gender biased. You know, everything is unisex. So it's just, you come in here and you feel good, you look good, and that's really all it does.
Rest of 2022, beginning of 2023, just kind of names of things you got coming for Stay Ahead that people should look out for.
So I want y'all to look out for stacked jeans we got coming. We've never done jeans before, so we have those first time ever. We do have our first time ever crop varsity jackets coming. We've never done that. We also have our new sweatsuits coming that we're famous for. And instead of the pullover, we're doing zip-ups now. Never have we ever done zip-ups in the 6 years that we have been selling sweatsuits. So, first time ever will be this year, 2022. And we're gonna see how it goes.
Do you have an estimate time frame on when those gonna drop?
Everything will be here for Black Friday.
Okay.
On or before Black Friday.
Okay.
So yes. So make sure y'all come and check me out. You know what I'm saying? We will be having a 50% off sale on all of our summer stuff. So when y'all ready, I'll be here.
You know, when you become successful and things like that, when you get to a certain level in life, you start to think about, you know, the journey, where you came from, and things like that. Just kind of explain some things that you do out of kindness of your heart for the community as far as giving back.
So I will sometimes have people come in here, and when they tell me that it is their birthday, I always want to give them something free. I've always been a person that likes to give and recognize people on their special day. So most of the time, people come here and they're looking for outfits, like maybe for their birthday. Even some people that are even in the military, I always like to offer something of what we carry, you know, to give them some recognition and make them feel good. As far as like the community, I haven't really branched out as much as I'd like to, because I'm trying to build up Stay Ahead to the point where we can do something really nice and donate to some, maybe a non-profit organization. Speaking of non-profit organization, I've had a group of kids come in here, and they were called Young Prodigies, and we had them in all Stay Ahead, and they do gospel rap. And they performed in all of our gear, and they inspired a lot of people, and they send it out a positive message while doing it. So,
all right, man. So, closing remarks. Anything that you want to let the Louisville community know about Stay Ahead that I haven't touched, and things you got to come, and let people know how to find you on social media, things like that.
So we also have a website. It's www.stayaheadcollections.com. We also have it on our Instagram, which is Stay Ahead Collection. And just a fun fact, we are the first Black-owned local clothing line to ever be in Jefferson Mall. And I'm only 27, and I feel like I'm the youngest at this point to do it. But I just want you guys to come and get in touch with the brand, and come and support, and come see me. Come see me.
Wraps up another episode of the Eric J. the Great podcast. We got Stay Ahead episode with owner Melvontae, man. Everybody check out what he has going on. It's a real staple in the community of Louisville. If you come to Louisville, go to any club in Louisville or any bar or any type of day party, you're liable to see at least 10 to 20% of the crowd with some type of stay ahead stuff on, you know. So it's just a real staple in the community. He's doing a lot of good things here. Anybody inside the community or outside the state of Kentucky or outside the city of Louisville, come support what he has going on and support our own, support Black-owned businesses. Appreciate all my supporters. We almost at 2,500 subscribers on YouTube, and we almost at 2,000 on Spotify. So I appreciate everybody that's been supporting the podcast, and be on the lookout for the Rez Deshaun interview that drops on November 7th at 12 o'clock. And be on the lookout. I got another big guest in the works. So I appreciate everybody that's been supporting, and everybody stay tuned to what's coming, man. And stay ahead and get left behind, man.
That's right. That's right. That's right.